line of sight and fire combat. Let's see how they work in the game. So to be able to fire at an enemy unit, I must be able to see it, and my weapons, the weapons I am using, either small arms or the heavy weapons, must have the appropriate range to reach the target. So for example, let's say that this unit here, this insurgent unit, tries and fire at this British infantry unit. First of all, I need to make sure that the firing unit can see the target. So I must make sure that the line of sight that goes from the firing unit to the target unit is not hindered by any obstacles. So to do it, basically I need to draw a line from the center of the firing unit X to the center of the target X, like this. If the line I'm drawing or I'm tracing meets any X which is either a cover X or a hill X or mountain X, then in this case the line of sight is blocked and I can't see my enemy, so I can't fire at them. If it's not blocked, like in this case, I can see them, and so I can fire at them. In this case, the line of sight is not blocked because it goes through two axes, which are clear axes, so they don't have any obstacles that can hinder my fire. So let's try and fire at this unit. Let's see how our firing works. I have to also make sure that the target unit is in range. If I want to use my small arms, in this case the left column, the range of these small arms is 3 axes. 1, 2, 3. So yes, they're in range. Okay, so I can fire them at this point. I'm choosing the small arms column, so I will have to roll a gray dice. But there might be some modifiers. That depends on the kind of terrain that the target is in. That depends on my state of physical health. Because if I'm, for example, I'm injured, if I have a 1 level physical damage, I get a malus of -1. It also depends on the target intrinsic defense. Like in this case, let's see if this unit has, yes, this value on the bottom right corner where you see this kind of shield, that tells you if the unit has some intrinsic defensive value. In this case, it has a 1 shift to the left, which means that I won't roll anymore a gray dice, but an inferior dice. Let's go and have a look at the dice very quickly. So I'm supposed to roll a gray dice, but since my target has a shift to the left bonus, I'll have to use the pink dice. But there's another modifier, because my target is also into a cover, what we call cover hex. Cover hexes are always indicated by this kind of dot in the center. So cover hex gives some cover to the target. Let's go and see on the terrain chart what kind of cover it is. I look for the terrain feature cover. Here it is, cover. And if I look at the modifiers, it tells me that if my target is in a cover hex, I get a shift to the left modifier. So not only I have a shift to the left because my target has an intrinsic defensive value of 1 shift, but also because I got an extra 1 shift because the target is in cover terrain. So in total I got 2 shifts to the left. So originally my dice was gray, but since I have to shift to the left 2 dice, I get 1, 2. I get to use the white dice, which is not very efficient, it's not very powerful. Okay, at this point I can roll the dice, see what happens. Okay, as you can tell, we got 2 icons. Since it's a fire combat, I must check the icon in the center, not the one in the left bottom corner, because that has to do with tests. So in this case, my icon is this kind of arrow pointing down, which means that the target unit is shaken. There are 2 different kinds of damage in the game. One is the psychological damage, and one is the physical damage. I'll get the counters. Okay, as you can tell, 2 different sets of counters. This is the physical damage counter. There are 2 levels. Level 1, which gives you a malus or 1 shift to the left, and level 2, which gives you 2 shifts to the left. This is instead the psychological damage counter. This one also has 2 levels. This is the first level, and it's the shaken level, and this is the second level, which is the suppressed level. So in this case, I got a shaken level damage. So I apply the shaken counter to my target. If a unit is shaken, it means that the unit can only move, but not fight, not use fire combat. If it's instead suppressed, like this, it means that the unit can't move nor fire. So I spend my 3 APs because I've just fired with my small arms. 1, 2, 3. There you go. And since I still have a few APs, I want to try and shoot with this other unit here. Let's see. If I were to shoot with the small arms, the range is quite short, so I wouldn't be able to fire to this unit, and even worse to this one, which is even further down. But I might use the heavy weapons. See this column? Why? Because I have a much longer range. I got 6x range, a 6x range, which means that I can very easily reach this target, but I might be able to reach also this one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I can easily reach this target as well. Let's see if I can see these 2 targets. Okay. For this target, there's no problem because these are all clear axes, and if I try and draw a straight line from the center of the firing unit X to the center of the defending unit X, the line doesn't enter any obstacle, any X with obstacles, any cover axis or high terrain axis. So yes, I can see it and I can fire to this unit. Let's see the other one. With the other one, it might be different. Let's see, because here I got a cover X, so it might hinder my line of sight. Let's see. No, it doesn't hinder my line of sight, so I might as well fire to this unit here. So I decide to fire to this unit. This one. The unit is in clear because I don't have any icons, any dots or triangles in the middle of the X, so that means it is a clear X. So there's no modifier for the terrain. I still have the modifier for the intrinsic defensive value here, which is a shift to the left. and I will be spending 4 APs, and I'll be using the green dice as a base die roll. But since I have a -1 for the intrinsic defensive value of the target unit, I will be rolling instead the grey dice. Okay, I spend my 4 APs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And roll my dice. Oh, once again, same result. It's a shaken result, so I get another shaken counter, and I'll put the counter on the target unit here. Okay, vehicles work the same way. If I get, for example, this vehicle here, just to show you, I have the same set of numbers. The only thing is that vehicles don't have any special abilities, but I have a left column which would be the small arms column, a right column which would be the heavy weapons column, and an intrinsic defense value, which is in this case 2 shifts to the left. And here on top I've got this icon which tells me that this vehicle is actually a transport, so I can transport units with this one. But basically the combat fire with vehicles works just the same, just like with infantry units. So whenever you're firing at a unit, you take into consideration these 2 very important charts. The terrain chart, where you have all the modifiers when you fire at a target, and you also have the level of the terrain you're firing from, or the terrain that the target is occupying. There are 3 levels, so level 0, which is clear terrain, and then you have level 1, which is the cover terrain, and then you have the level 2, which is basically high ground terrain. The other important chart you must consider is the loss chart. This will help you to sort out the most difficult situation when you have to trace a line of sight and try and understand whether the target is visible to the firing unit or not. Here you have some golden rules that will help you out. You also have this graphics showing you how the golden rules apply.